So lately, we've been talking a lot about standards and assessment and rubrics. So what I've done here is I brought together some examples of rubrics that your colleagues have been working on as a part of their lesson planning. And right here, the first one I've got is a freshman English rubric. And you've got the standard up here, determine an author's purpose and analyze how an author uses rhetoric to advance that purpose. And then we've got a one-line rubric here specifically about that purpose and goal, and then leveled here from advanced to developing. And if you look at the advanced description here, student can define figurative language commonly used in poetry and identify examples which in written work. Student can interpret the purpose of figurative language used by the author. Again, why is the author using that language? And then it levels all the way down to developing. And what I think is very smart here, the teacher also then put down samples of what you might do with the student if they start at this level, which some students will, the things that they could do to further their own understanding, which I thought was really smart. That we're looking at the edges and we're trying to push those students who already have this mastered onto something even more complex. That's an example from a freshman English class. If we go to the next one here, we've got a sophomore math class where we've got a standard, a Common Core standard about students giving an informal argument for the formulas or for the volumes of solids. And they've broken it down and annotated the language a little bit here. And then they've taken that and converted it into a goal and created, again, a one-line rubric, which could be used as a formative assessment for that particular goal. Again, having the advanced student not just be able to explain what a volume is, but apply that understanding of volume to real life situations and be able to explain it. And again, level down, but again, all based on the language of the goal and the language of and the standard. As we move forward here, we've got a fifth grade science rubric where this particular teacher is working on a standard that's about supporting an argument that the gravitational force exerted by Earth on objects is directed down. And they've got a two-line rubric here, really one about the concept itself, explaining how the force of gravity works. And then the skill one, I can use evidence data or a model to explain my thinking. And again, leveled it from secure to beginning using I can statements or my choice statements, and putting it in student friendly language so that a fifth grader could understand it. This could be used as formative during the process of creating their argument. It could also be used as summative at the end to evaluate the project that they've done. As we continue to move forward here, we've got another science rubric, this one a little bit more complex because what we're dealing here is a rubric for a summative assessment. And what we've got is a learning goal about understanding how to use luminosity to understand neuroplasticity and how that connects to core function of the human brain. The teachers outlined their procedure here, but then they've done something very smart here. They've created, I think, essential questions to guide students' learning, essential questions that will be addressed in the rubric. As we move down, we see their rubric here color coded 4 through 1, 4 being an advanced student and 1 being a developing student. And they've broken again down by categories. This is most definitely an analytic rubric, and this rubric is designed to evaluate the student's final performance on the unit. However, I know this teacher is giving out this rubric at the beginning of the process and then using it as a way to guide students through what they need to do to show mastery of the topic. And again, we go back up here. The essential questions are really driven by the learning goal or learning target, and those essential questions are used to create the rubric. One more example here that we have is a Phi Ed example, and even it looks very similar to the science one. This one is based on a couple different standards. One about students gaining skills to participate in a lifetime activity outside of school, and the other one is a common one in Phi Ed, a common standard, which is about teamwork. And the particular learning target here, the life skill that will be focused on or lifetime activity, is hiking. The idea that no matter how old you are, hiking is a way that you could exercise and improve your physical fitness. Underneath that, they've broken it down into 3 categories. The idea that students have goals involving compass skills for this particular target, they have goals involving GPS skills for this particular target, and ultimately they have to be able to participate in letterboxing to kind of meet this particular target that the teachers outlined for them. Underneath, when we get to the rubric, you will see that the goals of compass use are actually in the rubric itself. The goals of geocaching or using a GPS are in the rubric itself. And then they have to apply these skills, which is really the letterboxing element where students understand how to orienteer, and then they create a course using these skills to demonstrate that understanding. And as I said before, team skills are usually a part of Phi Ed Common Core standards, and they're also a part of how kids have to conduct themselves in class. And so team skills are all also represented there on the rubric. I hope that these examples of different types of rubrics in different subjects are helpful. Again, you could pause the video at any time to look at one specific rubric for longer if you want to get an idea of what is actually in the rubric. But I hope this helps you guiding what you're doing in your practice. Thank you.